live from the internet and recorded on January 3rd, 2019. My name is Pierre, and this is the Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast. I've said my name is Pierre. I am joined tonight by my good friend Mino. Good evening, Mino.
Hey, Pierre. For those just tuning in, apparently both Pierre and I have decided to drink for this podcast, so
that will be an adult-only podcast. I am warning you ahead of time. If the kiddos are listening to this, you might want to tune out and wait until your headphones are on. Penis. So there we go. I had to warn you. In a more serious topic, as you might have noticed, the French guy is here, but Mark is not. Mark unfortunately had to leave this morning to attend some health-related issues with his daughter. They're all at the hospital with his wife and everything. From my understanding, everything is well. It was a preventive, or that's probably not the right word, but preemptive, probably, visit more than anything else. But there you have it. So he might be joining us on a Twitch chat later on, but he will not be live with us. Unless you guys kind of want to hear like, beep, well, we want to see Mr. Wilson in room 2, Mr. Wilson room 2, and yeah, not really podcast material. So it's going to be only the French guy and Mino tonight. So Mino, how was your new year, man? Happy New Year. Oh, by the way, before we hear about your stories, Happy New Year to all of our listeners. Happy New Year, people on Twitch. We wish you only one goddamn thing, it's health, because everything else comes with it, believe me. So if you've got health, everything else will follow. So Mino, how was your new year?
Well, that's a good reminder, Pierre, what you just said about, being grateful for having your health. And, well, first of all, just like every year, it doesn't feel like 2019 yet, I'm doing better on remembering to write 19 when I put the date. But is it just me? It just doesn't feel like a brand new year to me just yet. It's really weird.
I don't know. Has Trump tweeted yet?
Oh man, don't even get me started on that.
Well, then it's still 2018. So that is so a 2018 thing. But seriously, did you do anything exciting for the passage to the new year? Like a walk in Times Square? Wait, no, you're not even close to Times Square, but
no, not really. I had a very interesting holiday. It was very I don't know, without revealing too much. It was a very interesting holiday, but it is the most low-key holiday I've spent in a long time, meaning all I did was visit family and friends and stay indoors and spend time together. No big celebrations or anything. Lots of plans went awry, so just chilling indoors. How about you, Pierre? Oh, well, no, Pierre, you did do something. So
oh boy. So I wasn't here last week, as you might have known. I want to give you a little explanation. We were, and when I say we, I mean me, my wife, and my 2 children. We were at a cabin about an hour and a half away from here with my 3 brothers and 2 sisters, my father, and my brothers and sister kids. Overall, we were 21. If you're a long time, not reader, what the hell's wrong with that, but listener to this show or Twitcher of this show, I don't know what's the exact term. You might have known that I'm a very emotional, very impulsive kind of person. Now try to imagine 6 of me with their kids running around. It was a very intensive and I'm just glad it didn't last more than 2 days. I love my family.
You didn't have a good time?
I had until the last morning when I woke up and I was checked out. I actually took the car and went in town to get a coffee until I got in a more social mood. But more seriously, I'm sorry if the show was published late. The Wi-Fi was crap. It was a mistake to give all the kids the Wi-Fi code because I think they were ordering the Wi-Fi code all the time, and especially the traffic. But in all seriousness, it was a good thing. But there was no way I could have been able to be on the show. So it would have been like, and yeah, that would have been all I could have been saying, considering the crappy internet we had. But it was a great thing. Passage to New Year was a good thing. We watch what we call here, it's a Quebec thing. It's called a Bye Bye. It's a TV show that lasts 90 minutes, and they make fun of everything that happened for the last 90 minutes. It was the 50th show or something like that. So a huge thing. So there we go.
Interesting. And oh, sorry, were you? Did
Yeah,
I
I
cut
was
you
just gonna
off?
say we put the kids to bed around 8:30. We wake them up with a couple of slaps around 11, and then we do the passage to the New Year with them, and then we throw them back to bed at about 0:30, and yeah, just really
That's
relaxed.
so interesting. Actually, as a kid, I always either fought to stay up or I just passed out. I think I always stayed up, but to nap for like 2.5 hours, wake up, and then go back to sleep after an hour, I'm surprised they could.
Well, they weren't happy the first couple of years when we tried that. I remember my daughter a couple of years ago just plainly almost giving me out the finger, saying, "No way, I'm waking up. Go to hell." But in all seriousness, I mean, I think it's they still want to watch like the TV show I mentioned. They still want to be because my older son is in uh, they call it secondary one. I think that's like seventh grade here. So all of his friends will stay up late. We'll watch a show. They'll talk about it and all of that. So he want to be part of the gang. So and it's not like his daughter. I mean, his sister will want to be left apart of the whole thing now. So you know how it is.
Yeah, and then your mention of 21 people reminded me of something during my holidays that I can share, which is this Christmas, my generation hosted Christmas for the first time, because you know how usually it's the I don't know how it is for you. Well, you have a few years on me, so you guys probably have been hosting the holidays for a while, right? Not the grandparents or anything.
I've got a tiny ass house, so we don't host shit here. We usually go to my brother-in-law's place. That's much bigger, and that's where we do things, or we rent a cabin.
All right. Well, the four of us decided to, or five of us decided to host and do everything. Food and entertainment and everything. The first time, it is exhausting. I
I
have no
know.
idea why people want to do it. Like we felt, well, at least for the guys, the girls, that was like fulfilling for them. Cooking and hosting and making sure everyone's having a good time. The guys that participated, we were just exhausted and we didn't even enjoy ourselves because I guess the whole time when you're playing host, you, you you feel like you have to be assisting I feel like we didn't get a chance to enjoy ourselves, and after it was over we were all exhausted and we just wanted to go home and sleep. And I was like, I have no idea how people do this.
I'd like to take a moment and say that Mino's thought represents him and him only, saying that girls that cook, they
No,
had
no, 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 no. I'm not.
they
I'm
had a
not
good
saying.
time.
I'm not saying that's the stereotype. I'm just saying there were five of us, 3 guys and 2 girls, doing all the hosting duties. At the end of the night, the women were very happy and satisfied with how the event went, and the 3 men that were there were exhausted and glad it was over. I'm not saying all women I'm just saying in our group there, they were like, this is great, let's do it again next year. And the guys are
I'm
like,
sorry, that was just an easy one. So anyway, last I checked, this was not the old man's
yes, let's continue.
podcast. So you know what?
Yes.
Why don't we do everyone a favor and move on to a DFFO more kind of topic. By the way, I've listened to the last show. You guys did great. I especially like the part where you men said, "Well, if Pierre was there, this is what he would do." It was kind of bringing on the sense that you know Pierre was bringing the wisdom and the discipline in the group, which is, as you all know, extremely wrong. But I still liked it.
We rely on you as a host.
I also like the fact that the podcast went way downhill in terms of expectation. It went from I think Zidane or Vaughn's getting his EX to we're getting Noel and we're getting everyone. And the more you will listen, the more crazy the rumors we're getting.
Oh, Garton wants to know what Christmas presents we got. Did you get anything noticeable? I mean,
I'm an old man.
notable?
I didn't get shit.
Yeah, I'm at
I'm
what did
sorry.
I get?
It is how it is. I didn't get anything.
I got Christmas socks.
Oh, that is not right. I actually got my kids offered me this little game here. It's in French. It probably won't mean anything. It's called Les Tigers, the François Pérus edition. If this means anything to you guys, then that's what my kids actually gave me for Christmas. It's a card game that we played in the cabin. It's like, yeah, super great. So that's what I got for Christmas from my kids. Did you get anything?
I bought myself those
jams?
gem bundle, yeah, and then got nothing from that. So I guess I got disappointment for Christmas. So, anyways, moving on. what's in the news before everyone tunes out? Because we're like 15 minutes
PayPal
in.
Account is
we're 15 minutes in and we haven't talked DFFOO. So.
But that's great. That's fine. So in the news, there's a Kupo card that was brought in, and if I'm correct, this is from my memory, as everyone knows, is really, really bad. The Kupo card was actually boosted a little. Yeah. So when you buy the Kupo cards, usually you get like 800 initial gems with your purchase. Except at this time, they also added 5 Chocobo Tail Feather and 2 Relics of All Knowledge to the purchase. So when you buy this, you get like 800 gems right away, the Chocobo Tail Feathers, the Relic of All Knowledge, and then you get every day for 7 days 100 gem when you log in along with all your other login bonuses. Did you get a Kupo card, man?
I not. So correct me if I'm wrong. So I usually don't get the Kupo card because I try to spend as little on this game as possible, which didn't work out this holiday. Yeah, it didn't work out this holiday. Like, honestly, I will only buy gems if I somehow hit 0 gems and still need to pull, like the Titus X weapon thing. But from what I glanced, is it just bonus feathers and relics of all knowledge? That's it, right? And like no extra gems, right?
Yeah, there's no extra gem. I mean, it was
okay. So it's just a nice little bonus.
Says on Twitch, he says, I recall the value of the mini Kupo card value is better than gem packs. And it's right. I mean, when you turn it straight to gems versus money, it's a better bang for your buck. But again, you know, it's not a huge amount of gems. It's just a little something.
I mean, it's good if you want to constantly get gems. For me, I want to spend as little as possible. So if I'm getting the costume packs on top of every Kupo card, I feel like I'd be dropping a lot more money on this game than I already do. So when I buy the packs, it's either going to be a costume pack or armor token packs. You know how once in a blue moon the packs will have like 5 armor tokens or something?
Like you need armor tokens.
I do. So no, I'm saying if I bought the Kupo cards along with all of those, then I would probably be spending like double what I spend on Dissidia already.
Anyhow, there's also the a whole bunch of New Year stuff that got added to the game, the New Year campaign. One of it is the launch banner, which is kind of a joke considering who's on the banner. That's Cloud's Dark Knight Cecil, and who's his face from Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, Layle. We'll get to that in a moment. There's also the co-op event called it's not called
New Year's Incursion, right?
Yeah, New Year's Incursion, which kind of also meant let's give you a whole bunch of gift because 5 people in South Korea have been playing nonstop for days.
I heard there was a twist this time. Again, I don't pay attention to these small details, but I heard
nipple twist,
something about it being the community score being based on gold tokens acquired or something. Usually it's both. I think I might be
I have no idea.
Might be the whiskey hitting me early. Ignore what I said.
Yeah, it's already done. So since December 31st, there's also been a sale. They brought back the 3 times relics, which is the Tomes of Treasure, Fortune, Training, and the Artifact of All Knowledge. So that's 3 times the XP, gold, or drops. You can buy those for 100 gems per pop or for 400 gems for 5 of each, except for the Artifact of All Knowledge, which is 240 gems each and 900 gems for 5 of them. So
Yes,
you might want to
and
stock up on them because they're only there until January 9th, which is, if you remember correctly, the day that the 4th wave of Awakening will be deployed. So you're going to need some mad XP to power up, to level up these folks, except that these 3 times the stuff will be gone by then. So make sure you stock up on those Tomes of Treasures and especially Tomes of Training before they go away the day of the 4th Awakening. You were going to say something?
oh yes, no, I was just going to backtrack slightly. Crease and some others in chat, Zozer, confirmed that yes, the score this time was based on gold tokens, 100%. I guess the old events counted for gold tokens and silver tokens. So this one we somehow made despite that 80% of the people who attended the events use Squall. Because if it's gold tokens only, then obviously you're going to get a bigger boost for synergy. And as Reddit is seen, I thought it was just me, but there was an unusual number of squalls in this co-op. Like, I do not understand. Like, it was so bad that there were so many complaint posts on Reddit because Cloud is just such a. You would assume everyone has Cloud, and you would want to use Cloud as a synergy, but there were so many squalls. It was ridiculous.
I'm fairly sure I'm guilty as charged.
You Squall? You have Cloud?
Yeah, but I don't have his EX. Why would
Yeah,
I?
but
All right, let's move things around in the outline. Let's talk and let's cover everything about the New Year's Incursion thing. All right, so first things first, the community reward. We got everything. That's a whole bunch of eye shards, like ridiculous amount. We've got power stones, everything. Then there's the banner, which we'll call the launch banner, aka Mark was super sad because he already had everything. Now I'm gonna ask you, Mino, was that a good banner? It had Cloud, it had Dark Knight Cecil, and it had Layle, which is the 3 launchers. It had everything on them except their EX. Was it a good banner?
So I didn't get the joke until someone posted on Reddit. I think the banner was called like New Year's launch banner. You know, launching the new year, and these
Yep.
are all the launch characters. So
I thought it was
you know,
clever.
yeah, it's and then as I said in our Discord channel when it was brought up, I think that like Square Enix obviously reads all the Reddit posts and listens in on the Discord, and so I think that the community is very hyped for a theoretical launch meta. People have been talking about a launch meta coming with Kate Sith and Selfie for ages. So I think Square Enix is very smart and they're cashing in on this launch meta hype by letting everyone get their hands on a launch character. So I think it is a good gimmick for them to try to cash in on community hype. That's my theory on why we got a launch banner.
But I mean, they still gave away a free 11 item draw to everyone. So it's not they're not cashing out in terms of making money, more like cashing out on the meme.
Yeah, fair, but I mean, just having a banner there, someone's gonna pull on it.
Did you pull on it besides the 11 the free draw?
No, of course not. You know me. I'm in super hoarding mode.
Yeah, you're like fully Kate Sith mode now.
Yeah, I'm not. I haven't pulled in a long time, and I don't plan to pull until Relm or Kate Sith get here. Whoever comes first. Those are the 2 banners I'll break my hoard for, but everything else I'm passing on. Like I'm passing on Gilgamesh, all the LCs, blah, whatever.
All right. So now we've talked about the banner. I mean, it was free. There's nothing new. We're not going to cover it for hours. We've already covered all of these items. I was hoping to get Cloud's Rune Blade because that's the only thing I'm missing. I didn't get
it
it.
would have been a good opportunity. Sucks though.
I got enough banner. But anyway, now let's talk about the level 50 co-op.
Oh, I thought you were gonna move on too, because so what Macnell brought up, that Reddit thread about these pulling for power stones or something. Let me scroll up in the chat.
Yeah, maybe I missed that. If someone had a good point, we definitely want to cover it.
There was so Kreese and Macnell reminded me. It says on Reddit there was a thread where the basic idea of the viability of free or cheap pulls was that before Awakening, you could take any lucky draw and use the character almost immediately. No real investment needed. Now with Awakenings, lucky weapons alone won't make a character useful, even in the most situational situations, because of need for high shard investment for a character to really work. So there's this debate between whether half pulls are still as valuable as they were before the Awakening era, and whether it is better to stockpile and pull for a single EX or to do a shotgun pull, which is, 1 or 2 pulls every banner. Do you have any thoughts on this? Well, I gather my thoughts.
All right. My thought would be as follow. Do you guys suddenly hate Power Stones? Like, have we reached a point where we literally puke on Power Stones? Because if we did, I missed a memo.
This is how I feel about it, Pierre. I used to like free Power Stones, and then I chased Tidus X, as everyone knows. And when I chased Tidus X, on one banner alone, I've got like all the Power Stones I'll ever need. Okay, because I feel like when you're chasing a weapon like that, right, you're just gonna get a shit ton of Power Stones. So do you really need to get these?
See, if we had this conversation 3 weeks ago, I would have told you that you're absolutely right, and that right now I'm sitting on all the Power Stones I will ever fucking need. I was like at 42 or something, and then I got Tidus EX. And
Lucky
then I got
bastard.
his 35 CP.
Rub it in, why don't you?
And then I got Squall's EX. And then I got Selfie's everything. And right now I'm sitting on barely like, what is it? Let me check. I'm sitting on 15 Power Stones. And that's trading, all of my 15 CP and moving it back and forth. I don't think anymore. And you guys had such a good point last week when you said, even though right now we're looking at our armor tokens and we're having a feeling like we're hoarding on them too much, the way the game is going to evolve, there will be no longer things such as too many armor token. And I'm thinking there's no way there's a thing like too many power stones. So that's why I never skip like a half price banner or anything, even if it's garbage, because there is no such thing as too many power stones, because the game can throw at you so many new items in one. Like, for example, Kate said, like, you get the guy right away, you're going to spend at least 12 power stones for his EX, and then you're going to spend 8 power stones for his 15 CP, considering and that's right, he's going to be like a chapter character, so you're not going to get 2 free 15 CP. Am I right?
Yeah, you just get a single 15, and then he has no X. I think you meant his 35.
Yeah,
if you pull his 35, you'll probably
if I
need
said
like
EX, that was a mistake. But my point is, you're still going to invest. That's going to be 20 power stone gone in a pop. So I don't think there's such a thing as too many power stones. Now, I'm totally totally free at the idea of being corrected on that one, but I still don't think there's such a thing.
So once again, this is why I say I'm always glad. Pierre always has doubts that he contributes anything to the podcast, but I feel like you always have a great point of view, and I have another point of view, but I know yours is just as valid. But it's great that we can share these different point of views. So before Awakening, I had the exact same outlook you did, which is Power Stones are great because if I'm just pulling here and there on each of these banners, like you said, one weapon and then Power Stone it to full. But now I feel like we're getting more repeat banners than we are new characters, correct? Like the
Yeah,
new,
for the time being, because the chapters are kind of like done
yeah,
with. That's absolutely right.
yeah. So for like new characters, we're getting 2 a month tops, whereas within that month, we're probably going to get like 2 LCs, and the Awakenings are all repeat characters. The only new things are EXs. I'm sure lots of people have their favorite characters maxed. For example, when Vaan is awakened, anyone who is going to invest in Vaan already had him MLB, I'm sure. Squall MLB, Cloud MLB. I'm sure a lot of people have these guys MLB. And so I feel like there are less new weapons coming out than there used to be. I used to pull a little on every banner, but now I only pull if there's a new event character that I'm going to be really into, like Relm coming up, or if I'm chasing an EX weapon. And of course, everyone in chat right now is saying chasing an EX weapon is a terrible idea. I know that from Titus, but I feel like there's no better use for my gems. What am I gonna do? Stockpile on someone's 35? I don't think so. So I feel like I'm gonna get the power stones I need chasing an EX, but that's me. Not everyone's going to chase an EX.
Well, see,
I'm a
right
fool.
now, Garton on Twitch says that right now, because nothing interesting is really coming out, you are just stocking up on those tones, and that was your point. And he says that they will come where we will have a resource deficit. And I absolutely share that thought. Exactly. I mean, because and the armor token um, conversation you guys had last week absolutely brings that point home. I mean, because right now the mechanic is as such doesn't mean that in a month time, Square Enix like twist things around and make it harder or make it more expensive on certain types of weapons.
Yes, and then also, hold on. I remember Garton brought up something else I wanted to talk about, which is, they were asking in chat, is it better to pull for a weapon duplicate or use 4 power stones? In my opinion, no, actually,
any time of day.
Yeah. It's not even an opinion. Actually, I think objectively, it is more efficient to pull for a duplicate because
absolutely.
pulling one weapon equaling sacrificing 4 weapons. Of course, if you really want to build up that character, pull multiple times on that banner. I will always say that because in the end, you'll be saving on efficiency. Sacrificing 4 or 5 stars does not equal pulling 1 5-star. So if you really like a character, pull for the duplicates. I will always advise. And that's why in this X weapon era, I think it's so valuable that you find an X weapon you kind of want to go all in on. For me, it's Kate Sith, right? Like I want Warrior of Light's X weapon. If I chase it and get a bunch of Kate Sith duplicates,
oh boo-hoo-hoo.
Yeah, or Warrior of Light duplicates who I really love.
Yeah, because you don't have him MLB now, do you?
Exactly, I don't. I only have him 0 LB35 because I've been waiting for the Kate Sith banner. So basically, like, for my pulling strategy is find an EX you really want on a banner that's good, like Kate Sith, and then mass pull for it. Even if I don't get that EX, I will end up with probably a strong Warrior of Light and Kate Sith. And that's how I'm doing my pulls in this era for now.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I think...
sorry, Zyro says, who is on the Kate Sith banner? It is Kate Sith, Warrior of Light, and Ace. Yep. All right. Sorry.
That's correct. Have you got Ace MLB'd?
No, I don't even have his 35. I think I have him like 1 LB 15 CP. So that is a great banner for me. I've been waiting.
I was talking to Mark a couple days ago. Like, how do we call an MLB that has an EX? Is it like an XLB?
I think it's XMLB. I don't know. That's what I would say. MLB X? XMLB? Wait, what do we say? It's 35 CP MLB? Okay, then I would say XMLB. Sure.
But that's like an extra letter. I mean, it could be just XLB. I don't know.
I'm the kind of guy that likes to
add letters.
Yeah, more information. I mean, in my line of work, HR, it's all like there's no such thing as too much communication, is what they always say. So
You HR people, don't get me started.
I'll just add extra letters to make it clear, whatever.
All right. So now you wanted to talk, and now we're finally at that point where we were about 15 minutes ago. Let's talk about the co-op. I went in with Squall, and quite frankly, I did not see anybody else but Squalls on that banner. Now, I wasn't it just for fun thing. I was not in looking for boosted characters.
Look, if you're in just for fun, I have no problem with that. I've all the complaints are just Squalls and boosted. Like, I mean, you know, not to beat a dead horse, but if I don't have a synergy character, I personally go to just for fun. But the argument
haven't banned and boosted ever since we had a conversation, probably like 8 episodes.
Yeah, ago. Actually, you know what? Even with boosted, most of the time I go to just for fun also. But my point is like the outrage on Reddit, and I actually saw some of it in our chat before we started too, because people were saying, "Oh, I don't have Cloud EX, so I'm using Squall." If you're going for just for fun, I think that's fine. But I think the problem is they increase the reward for using boosted characters, so you get. Each boosted character is a multiplier on the tokens received now, I believe. So, for example, if you have one boosted character, it's ×2, two boosted characters ×3, three characters ×4. So a lot of people online are falsely saying that, oh, if I bring Squall and we finish the fight faster, it's still more tokens in the end. No, actually, bringing the boosted characters will always result in more tokens. So I think a lot of people don't understand that. It's not about the faster kills. And I really do think that to be polite, you should just go to just for fun.
Mark is in the Twitch chat and says it's fun going into a boosted room with your cloud and another cloud, and then the Squall shows up and take 10 turns in a row and wins. Because you guys talked about it, and I thought it was such a on point thing. Squall each turn like lightning has never existed.
Oh, but speaking of that, and I'm sure a lot of people in chat can agree, Squall brings out the worst players in the game, I feel like, because I've seen too many Squall. It's always the Squall. Once the magic pot comes out, they're spamming Renzo Kukin. And it's like,
I want a brave attack.
It's like, why?
Nope, you're not getting it.
And then I'll point to the brave attack, and then they'll just do Renzo Kukin again. And because they're Squall, they get like 2-3 turns in a row. It's so frustrating.
Read, if you're watching my webcam, there's a thing top here that's going to says, I want a brave attack, or I want an HP attack, and just like Nike would say, just do it. That's all it takes. Just do it.
I don't think the stickers are effective. We need meaner stickers, Square Enix, because the pointer finger and son of a sub are not working.
Yeah, people will still prefer to be called treasure hunters, but whatever. They're beside the point. So anyway, if I understood correctly, I was correct to bring my Squall before because I wasn't just for fun. I mean, I took a book. I went in for half an hour. I took a book of 3 times the items, and I cleared house except for 2 draw tickets in that half an hour. Everything that was in the token exchange for that event, it's gone. I mean, I took everything. So that event is crazy, stupid, silly, easy. I think that was a gimmick event for...
of course. The seasonal events have always been easy. The fall and summer events were that easy as well.
My point is just, I don't understand why people are losing their shit because people aren't bringing synergy characters when I understand the multiplier will not apply and but is it such a thing?
I don't know. I mean, if everyone is different. I get that, but I feel I'm always in the camp of boosted characters brings a boosted character. That's just how I feel. I mean,
I would gladly lose my shit for people who take like a minute and a half to click ready or to do their stupid ass turn than because they're not bringing a good character.
Maybe I'd be happy if
that's my artifact you're wasting right there, buddy.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, the multiplier is even better for you because you're running a book. Because you're multiplying that multiplier. So if anything, you should want boosted characters.
I didn't know there was such a thing. I kind of missed out on that.
Yeah. So I'm saying it's just, I don't know. Is it such a big deal to go to just for? Yeah, you're right. Drop the topic. I'm just saying I don't think it's such a big deal to go to just for fun. Is it really that big of a deal? But all right.
All right. So if you're like me, just stick to just for fun. And if anybody gives you trouble, brings the just use up the I prefer treasure hunter sticker, and there you go. Moving on. All right. World of Illusion Carbuncles, aka this is a fucking lie. They try to make us believe that in the world, in Carbuncle's treasure, they had increased the drops to power up Chocobo or what's her face? Will help.
Sylph.
Sylph. And I have yet to get anything out of that. And I mean, I cleared the whole thing more than once. I got something, but I will not believe that they have really increased the drop rates. And from the outline, Mark does not believe so either. So, Mino, did you get any more luck?
Well, my Chocobo and Sylph have been maxed forever, so I don't run these. But I mean, when they were up, that's how I maxed them, by running these. Supposedly, it is double rates. Supposedly, as in it used to be 5% chance for these things to drop in like a normal WOI, and now it's a 10% chance. And I'm just gonna say what I always say. It's what's that cognitive bias called? It's called loss aversion, where you feel it more when you don't get what you want compared to when you get what you want. So I'm gonna say it's bias. Like clearly,
that Final Fantasy IX boss in the winter event they've got going on that never.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's biased. Square Enix isn't gonna lie about their rates. They say it's increased rates. There's no way it's not. Like it's just the RNG bias. You don't get it. You're like, I'm mad. I didn't get it.
Yeah, that never happened to me. Never. So I guess you only cleared it for crystals and that you never for gems and then you never went back in it.
Yeah, that's what I do with a lot of the WOIs. Like I said, I'm a lazy artifact hunter.
But have you got all of your summons to level 20?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so you grind them up to them and then that's it.
Yeah, then I don't touch it anymore.
Okay, all right. I thought you weren't leveling up to 20. You were just like not caring much.
It's been super easy. What was the last WOI we got? We had the winter item, so that went really quick. I think.
I still regret not getting the brothers to 20.
That's coming back in a month or so.
Oh, I figured. It's just it was that one time where I said, "Nope, I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. I don't care."
Yeah, they're one of the better summons. You messed up.
No, I didn't. Everybody's using Bahamut now.
Yeah, it's true. Bahamut and Ifrit are fine as well. Honestly,
when's the last time you've used the brothers?
Dude, I used brothers maybe like once ever, and even then I felt like I didn't need it. I forgot. It was the EX fight for the event character that just came out after Brothers WOI did. That's it. Because I think they were weak to Earth. Yeah, so I'm saying you're right. It's not a big deal at all. To be honest, I don't think any summon will ever make or break your run.
I don't know. I've seen some Ifrit in certain co-ops where the players weren't all that good, including myself. Not Ifrit, I mean Sylph. And our HP thing kind of saved the game. So it depends how shitty your group is.
Well, are you talking about the co-ops?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess. I mean, the heal's not much. You could bring a real heal.
I know, but who brings a real healer in co-op? No one.
My favorite thing was playing Aerith in the Aerith event.
Oh, that must have been good.
I finally got to play a non-DPS in an event, and I was really happy.
Just like
actually, I played Selfie in the Selfie co-op because I was tired of seeing three squalls.
All right. Ashe's lost chapter or Ashe lost chapter. So basically, Ashe can now be awakened up to level 60, which none of us, including Mark, did. So I'm going to rely on good old Mino to tell us what would have happened had we awakened her to level 55 and then 60. Would she have been much better than she is now?
Supposedly. So I'm also going to admit that I didn't awaken her. None of us hosts have awakened her.
Yeah, I just said that.
Sorry. Yeah, oh, sorry. Alcohol. Sorry. So sorry, audience, but this is going to be purely speculation on our part. So we could be completely wrong. Although Keyblade, a viewer who did awaken her, said he was disappointed with the results. I know in Japan when she was awakened, she was valued extremely highly because of the P attack and the M attack buff. That's very unique and doesn't stack with a lot of characters.
But they didn't have like all the EX we have now, did they?
That's true. But I mean, I remember in JP, Ashe awoken around when Kate Sith came, and after Kate Sith came, they still kind of used Ashe. I mean, she wasn't meta anymore, but she was considered a viable pick because for a lot of characters buff their own attack, but they don't buff magic attack or physical attack. So you could make some people hit really hard with Ashe, and she hits really hard herself. So what her awakening does is it adds a let me skim this really quick to make sure I'm not making any mistakes. Adds it her first ability becomes a brave to HP attack.
Which seriously, she kind of needed an HP.
Oh, so attack. No, she super needed it. And then she gets overflow on her second ability, which is a big deal. And so both of her abilities become brave plus HP,
okay,
which I think is a huge improvement. Double the duration for her buffs, right? So 6 turns for physical attack and 6 turns for magical attack, which I think is great because you were saying you brought her. I think it was you that said it, or one of our listeners said that they brought her to Chapter 11 final boss, and someone said that they don't think she has the longevity to run that whole boss. But I feel like if you space her out 6 turn buffs and she has so many charges, that's a lot of turns that your characters are buffed for. I think it's pretty good.
See, Mark in Twitch has a good point. He says that if she wasn't blue, she using blue crystal, she could have been awakened. And it's so right that the competition for blue crystals at that point is just silly. Who do we have? We have Cloud. Yes. We have like Vaan.
No, Vaughn's red.
No, Vaughn's red. Who's blue?
Zidane.
Zidane.
Was it Tidus?
Tidus is blue. That's
right. It Tidus? Tidus blue? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, and who's coming in blue in the next wave?
Laguna, who's super good awakened. Super good.
So see. And Kreese says that he has awakened Ashe. She is amazing as an offensive DPS support. Good aura with a awakening passive buff. That's a weird thing to say. But the big weakness is that she still has garbage pre-awakening passive in a low max brave. So
it goes back to the curse of knowledge that GL has. In Japan, Ashe came out. No one knows what was coming. They awakened Ashe. They loved Ashe. Kate Sith came out 2 weeks, 3 weeks later. They got blindsided, We know what's coming, so we're saving. Not only are we saving, but we got thrown a curveball with Tidus X weapon. So Tidus X weapon came. Whoever drew his X, I'm sure, fully awakened him, even though they didn't plan to, just like you, right? So that's another blue crystal sync. So
now I have 5 characters fully awakened. That's Wall, Cloud, Terra, Squall, Tidus.
Yeah, so it's like the competition was even more fierce in global, I think, for blue crystals. I want to awaken Ashe too, because both of her attacks being brave to HP is a big deal, I think. And the physical attack and magical attack is good to have. But Laguna and Kate Sith are both coming within a month, and they are
Is Kate
very,
really
very
coming?
good.
Because that shit has not been data mined. And at that point, I'm
That's
starting
true.
to think that
That's
Square
true.
Enix is just playing with us.
At worst, he is, I think, I could be completely wrong. At worst, I think he's coming before Wave 5. The next one is Wave 4, right?
Yep.
The next Awakening on January 9th. I want to, he has to come before Wave 5. If I'm wrong, then fuck it. But I mean, he's coming soon. Like someone said, who said it in chat. I only have enough to awaken one more blue character, a third blue character. And then I want to awaken Laguna because Laguna's insanely good. He is AoE debuffs, buffs, and batteries and auras. He's like an amazing support character. Lilithset on crack, I think. And
why is everybody fucking Lilizat but better? That's exactly what you said last week about Selfie.
Oh, because that's the way it works, right? Power creep. They find a concept they really like, and then they go crazy. Lilithset was the first to be these insane support with auras, and now all the insane supports are going to have auras coming.
For what it's worth, I don't like at all that mechanic of like, you know, those buffs that you have that don't show up.
Oh, yeah. So the invisible buffs, the auras, yes.
These annoy the hell out of me.
They're so good.
No,
you don't have to keep track
of it. It's not their mechanic. Well, you kind of have to keep track of them. Because, oh, now I have like 15k Brave, and then I did something, and oh, now I have 9,000k Brave. 9,000. Why? I mean, I like seeing little squares with numbers, and then I know whatever I'm doing, there's a buff that's going to go away, and I don't like that mechanic at all. I wish they would have them like under the character or something where I could see, well, okay, I've got this, but it cannot be debuffed or anyway. There, I've said.
Oh, sorry. Kreese corrected me because I'm buzzing at this point. He said, Mino, both attacks are not Brave plus HP yet. That is her rework down the road. A complete noob that I am, because I usually always double check with the rework. I read Ashe's freaking rework. And okay, so let me get her accurate changes really quickly.
My Canadian maple leaf cookies judging you right now.
Here we go. So second ability is for sure Brave plus HP, Heaven's Wrath. First ability, Northwain's Glow, is not Brave to HP yet. So that is my fault. But the point is, her having a Brave to HP on Heaven's Wrath is great because that hits like a truck. I always cap Brave on it, even without her awakened. And she just needs that. I think she's a very strong attacker here. Keyblade on chat should know. He's the only person I know who's fully awakened her for favoritism. He said he was disappointed, but I remember, like I said, Japan rated her very highly on awakening because physical attack plus magical attack makes your heaviest hitters hit even harder. Makes Terra hit harder, makes Vaan hit harder, makes Squall hit harder. Cloud has his own physical attack buff, right? But she was valued for that, and I think she is a good choice. I think if you want to spend the blue crystals on her, it's not a waste. She just has so much competition. But sorry, Pierre, where were we? Keep me on track, please, because
I think we're right on track.
Okay, good.
All right. So with a new Lost chapter came a new banner. On that banner, who do we have? We have obviously the
Ashe, Vaan, Pinello, the FF12. I remember this one because when it first came out, people were like, "Isn't it cool that it's a banner of all the characters from the same Final Fantasy?"
I know, right? I wish they did that more often.
I think they try, but we'll see.
So that banner, if I'm not mistaken, was half price, right?
Yeah, did you pull?
Of course I did.
I didn't. I
I
fought
I got to do that.
I want to because I don't have Ashe's 35, but I can't. Kate Sip's coming. Did you luck out? What did you get?
Garbage. I mean, I probably got something I already had because I don't remember. And from looking at the buttons, I know I pulled on it. So I don't know.
I think we've both been drinking a little too much.
No, I'm serious. I don't
I know
remember.
you're like, yeah.
I don't remember, but again, I might have. I don't know. So you would not recommend anybody to pull on this at this very moment because of, I mean, everything that's been
Lack of
said for,
EX.
yeah,
That's
lack of EX and Kate Sith.
I think that's my attitude. I don't know if you have a different one, Pierre, but my current personal pulling method is if there's no EX, I'm not going crazy on it. Maybe I'll do a half off pull, but I'm not sinking any extra tickets or gems into it.
Okay, but there, see right there, you just said you didn't pull on it, and then you said I might do a half pull. So
If
what
it's a
was
character
your?
I really like, not Ashe though.
Okay,
If it's like
but there was also Vaan. Don't you have Vaan?
I have him MLB
Oh,
already.
okay. So there we, and nobody cares about Pinolo, so.
I mean I like new weapons. I don't have Pinello 35 or Ashe 35, so I was tempted, but if I wasn't broke, I would do it. If I wasn't broke. Also, I see in chat you guys were talking. I forgot to address it about the keeping track of the invisible buff. I mean, they're either gonna be if you have a buff, if the enemy has a debuff, or if you're healthy. So I think it's pretty easy, right? Like you're always gonna either be buffed, debuffed, or healthy, right? Come on.
I like to see the numbers on the screen.
For example, like Noctis's buff is if he's buffed. Vaan is if he's like oh yeah, you're right though. It's
Okay, so you're buffed if you're buffed, but you're not buffed if you're not buffed, and
yeah.
that's supposed to be the logic.
Okay, you know
so
what?
Let's say my daughter picks up my phone and say, "Oh, why is that character suddenly stronger?" Well, he's buffed because he's buffed. That's the explanation I'm supposed to give her.
You have a great point. I concede. You guys are right. Like maybe there should be a way to keep track of invisible buffs. Like they should stack on top of current buffs, but maybe there should be somewhere on the screen you should be able to see it. You're right.
Here's an addition to that point. Name me one Final Fantasy game where you have invisible buffs. One, only one.
Okay, I got one. Well, I don't know if this counts, but like FF9 for sure has the killer abilities where they do extra damage to certain enemy types.
But that's not a buff per se.
I know. I'm like, does that count? Does that? Come on, Wolf Killer. You do 50% more damage to wolves. Like that counts as an invisible buff, right? Come on, please.
Everybody
that's like
on Twitch, you are absolutely fucking cheating with the answer DFFOO. That doesn't work. You guys are terrible at that kind of game. You cannot say this. I mean one other game, but DFFO.
I'm standing by FF9 and the killer abilities: Plant Killer, Wolf Killer, Man Killer, or Eater, whatever. It's you do extra damage to certain enemy types. I'm gonna call that an invisible buff.
Okay, but I'm going to send you back on this and say, does that apply only to certain characters, or it apply only on weapons they equip or things like that?
That's certain characters because they can only. So you know how FF9 works, right? You played FF9, right?
Not enough.
Oh shit. Okay, so basically they learn passive abilities based on the weapons they equip, but only certain characters can learn certain passive abilities.
Okay, but if I'm powerful against plants, let's say, and I fight this thing, I am always powerful against plants, like all the time. It's not random. It's not if I did this or use that ability, I am suddenly powerful against plants, but for 3 turns.
That's fair.
So like I know going into battle, if I fight a bunch of leaves, I already know that, like, for example, whatever, like Vivi is going to be like super strong against that thing because that's how he rolls.
Yeah, and like I said, I concede. I think you have a great point, But let's look at the chat. Kree says invisible buffs were Essie's answer to increase party power without pushing more buffs. I agree with that, but Pierre has a point. You should be able to keep track of it. But then I don't need this said. If you hold onto the character, it will show you a list of invisible buffs. So apparently there is a way to keep track of it. I don't need this. But I think Pierre's problem is that it should be more intuitive to a casual player, like what you need to do to activate the buff. Like you don't have to memorize a different condition for each character going into a fight. So I will say that Square Enix can do better conveying this information.
Well, it's just that when I use Serah, for example, I know that if I cast the first ability, which is Meltdown, I believe, that her bravery will be raised, and then I can use what Meteor or whatever it is. And I know that the first ability lasts 3 turns, but when I use Squall, I kind of lose track when I use his first ability of how long his boost will last. It's just that little thing that kind of annoys me. It's keeping track of how long things will last. But anyway, I don't want to keep the whole episode about this. It's just I think that, and we've talked about this before. I think this is exactly where my casualness of playing crosses your epicness of playing.
But I like I said, like we don't need to continue on this because I agree with you. They can do a better job conveying information. But Kreese just said FF4, Palam's bluff ability, invisible buff in a Final Fantasy.
Really?
Oh, but then Pierre's point was like it's a constant because when you use bluff, you're going to get an invisible buff. Whereas you don't know if a character gets a buff.
That was not my point. My point was as you join the battle, the buff is there and will stay there until the end of the battle. What Kreese is saying is that it's whenever you use that ability that you would gain. Anyway, let's move on.
Let's move on. You should just write a strongly worded letter to Square Enix Joshua saying, hey man, invisible buff should be visible.
The dude stopped replying to me weeks ago, so I'm not trying that anymore.
I'm sure he's busy because of the holidays. He's busy because of the holidays. I'm sure. I haven't talked to him in a long time.
Nah, you're the only one he talks to. Let's see. My last message to him was on December 4th, and I haven't heard back, so I kind of gave up. All right. What did you think about Ashe Lost Chapter? I don't think it was hard. I breezed through, and I'm Pierre. So I would have a very hard time thinking you had any difficulty going through it.
Yeah, if I can carry a 5150 event character and get the high score, then I think it's a pretty easy event. I don't even need to talk about it. I don't even remember the mechanics. This is why we have Mark around.
There's
because he knows. Yeah, exactly. This is why we have Mark around because he's the one who covers these fight mechanics. If I breeze through it, I don't try to take notes on what the fight actually did.
I don't think Mark takes notes. I think he's just very, very intelligent person.
Mark, if you're in the chat, please give us a little paragraph to read on the podcast.
Let's see. Who did we fight? So we fought a Skull Dragon Soul. Yeah, I don't have anything. It was weak to Vob. Oh, he meant Vaan. Yeah, basically it's not the hardest Lost Chapters we've had so far.
Yeah, One Winged Angel says, we need difficult content. I can't wait for Gilgamesh EX, which we'll talk about in our upcoming events section. But somebody asked me this about like, oh, are you upset that content is so easy compared to when, the Lena EX month where things were too hard? I said, we made a post about this. I think it's better for content to be too easy so that everyone enjoys it. Right, Pierre? Like, actually, you're a perfect example because you're someone who hated the game during that month with Lena EX, Sid EX, and now you're able to clear all this content.
Very strongly worded. I mean, I do a weekly podcast about the goddamn thing. So hated the game is a bit strong. This being said, and I'm gonna feel absolutely stupid saying this the moment it comes out of my mouth, but I'm still going to say it. Right now, I have Squalls and Tidus EX, and I feel like it's tiny thing too easy. I mean, someone.
Wow, Pierre, you're gonna regret this when difficulty shoots up again. I can't wait till Cosmos comes out and you're saying the game's too hard again.
Okay, let me rephrase this. Maybe it's like the imposter syndrome. Maybe I feel like I shouldn't be able to clear this or that content.
But this is what you wanted. This is literally what you asked for a few months ago. You said, I want to be able to experience.
And I'm an honest person. Maybe I just learned to play better. Maybe that's all it is. But anyway, so we don't have much to say about that last chapter. If you have questions, we'll bring Mark on next week to address those.
Yeah, and Macnell says, once again, we find content easy because everyone knows who listens to this podcast which powerhouses to pull for.
Absolutely.
Nevertheless, informed players do not find that easy. Newer or less, I'm going to say that even if it is easy, I think this is still better than it being too hard because I think it's inviting to new players. Everyone's having a good time. Like, for example, Pierre people like Pierre, who is frustrated with Lena EX, can clear all the content and see it all.
Comparing to the worst event that had ever been in the FFO. Nobody liked Lena's event.
Yeah, Sid, it was 3. I think it was Lena, Sid, and something. I want to say Sephiroth, but Sephiroth to me was the perfect difficulty. Anyways,
but again, Sephiroth was the first time I had been in EX at all. And it was because of you.
Yeah, I think the Sephiroth one was the perfect difficulty.
I think it was right there.
I personally find the game too easy now, but I'm still playing it regularly. Honestly, I'm just doing the dailies, but I know the difficulty will pick up. I know that. And I'd rather I find it too easy and everyone else has fun than I find it fun and everyone else finds it too frustrating.
So we thank Mino for his sacrifice for the good of all of us. All right, question of the week. And you guys kind of addressed part of this last week when Mark mentioned it. He says, the question was, how much do you have to spend before you get salty about your polls? And then you came up with another question, which was, how much are you personally willing to invest to pull on an EX? Now, I didn't know if your question was gem-wise or money-wise, like real life money.
Oh, do you have an answer? Or are you waiting for me?
No, I'm asking a question. When you ask a question, how much are you personally willing to invest to pull on the EX?
I think gems, right? Okay, I think the question's got to be gems, right?
Okay. Because I knew you went all in on Tidus. I wanted to know.
That was the worst I've ever done. Usually I give a hard cap of 50K.
And you regretted it, didn't you?
Of course, because I didn't get it. Maybe if I got it, I would have regretted it a lot less. But I mean, my pulling strategy has changed since the X era, I said. And then for now, the meta characters are so far apart, I feel like I'll be okay going all in on a meta character and then saving to the next. For example, the next meta character is Kate. If I go all in, spend every single one of my gems, I think I'll be okay. I'll have like another 30, 40, 50K until like Layle's Awakening or something, which I already have this gear. And then Deuce, and then Kuja. Right now, the meta characters are far apart. I'm okay going all in.
Yes, there's a guy who thought Vaan EX would drop on January 1st.
Who? Me?
Yeah.
Oh, if it did, I would have been okay skipping it. Like, Vaan EX is really, really good.
I wish I could bring what you said right now. Your very words, and I know because I listened to that segment, Walking the Dog, today. your very words where if they do this, I am going to be probably fucked.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I wouldn't pull on it at all. Is what would have happened.
Couldn't.
So I'm saying, like,
Not
yeah,
because
exactly.
You
So I would have been like,
you couldn't.
if I could pull on it, I would. Yes, but I'm saying I would be personally okay skipping Vaan's X. His X is really, really good. It is not meta defining like Kate Sith.
Okay.
Like I said, no matter what, I would say for Kate Sith.
So if they were bringing like any EX that exists in GP right now in the game right now, like the Saws thing they did, you would still save yourself for Kate.
The only thing that would break it is Kuja EX. Okay. Super early like Saws. If it was like 4 or 5 months early like Saws, I would probably spend money on that. But
oh wow, that much.
But barring that, there's no EX that is going to be game changing coming up if we follow Japan's schedule.
I want to go see what Kuja's EX does.
I think it maxes his stacks immediately and does a ton of damage.
Oh yeah, because he's got a mechanic where he has to reach like a certain point.
Yeah. So I mean, that was the first EX weapon that was deemed necessary in Japan.
So it gives you Force Symphony. Force Symphony
so max stacks,
a 5-hit AoE Brave plus HP attack, moderately increased Brave damage to single target, 100% HP damage dealt to all target. That is pretty good. Grants 4 stacks of Soul Divider, grants Dark Messenger for 5 turns, and Soul Divider is not dispelled after using Ring. Oh, that is good.
Yeah, it's
the first not dispelled after using Ring Holy Plus and Ultima Plus while Dark Messenger is active.
First EX deemed necessary. Everything until then was optional. So right now I'm just pulling for favorites like Warrior of Light or Edgar. These are just EXs I want for fun. They're not meta defining, but
I don't want to get too much on this, but why is it going to be deemed necessary?
Because it is the first EX where the character is complete garbage if you don't have the EX. And then going forward, that's going to be the trend in JP. For example, Golbez or Quistis or Renault. Well, I think Renault is still good with that. But I mean, like going forward from Kuja EX, the characters are bad if you do not have the EX.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah, they're like unworkable. Right now, there's plenty of characters like Squall who work perfectly fine without their EX.
If you fully awaken them.
Yeah. But there, it's like even if you fully awaken and have 15 and 35 MLB, they're not usable unless you have their EX.
Wow, One Winged Devil on Twitch says Kuja created a whole new damage tier. That is, wow.
Kreese says, the thing is, Kuja had very short life viability in JP. Kreese, that is true if you manage to pull every single person's EX. But if you don't pull like Golbez's EX or Quistis's EX, you're going to be relying on Kuja if you get its EX. That's the era where you use whoever's EX you have. And that's what it is. Like, that's just how that era of JP works.
But, boy, have we went sideways on that one. So the question of the week was how much you have to spend before you get salty about your pulls, or how much are you personally willing to invest to pull on an EX? Now, obviously, we know that for you, Mino, the question is my whole paycheck.
Yeah. No, I already answered. So for an EX I want, all in. For a pull before I get salty, 50K maybe.
Yeah, I think the general consensus, even though you said last week that the logical consensus was 100K jam, that the minimal consensus was 50K to
Drobman on Twitch says would be salty if no X in 50K pulls. Statistically, you average an X every 100K gems. So I think it's a little unfair to be salty at 50K. But if I pulled 50K and didn't get something I wanted, I would stop.
Yeah, I think we can all agree to 50K is the it is really, it's five. I mean, it's 10 draws, Mats.
It's a 5%, so 20 multiples.
No, I mean 50K.
Oh, for 50K is 10 draws, yes. So that's
I
like a
mean,
50% chance. I'm bad with statistics, so don't quote me on that.
no, but my point still is, after 10 draws, I would absolutely be salty for not getting, especially considering the fact that after 10 draws, you must have gotten everything else, right?
Oh man, tell me about it. Tidus EXI MLB'd all of those characters from scratch.
Wow.
Yeah, I was pretty pissed because that banner sucked. It was Lightning, Hope, and I forget who else, but they were all freaking awful. Tidus, which you already had MLB'd. Oh, so
But that
much regret.
banner was weird because it didn't have any 35 CP on it.
No, it did. For
No,
the
it didn't.
Awakening characters. Lightning and Hope and Tidus.
It didn't have Tidus 35 CP. Because I had to go get it from the free banner. Mark had made me realize.
Oh, sorry. Kreese corrected me. It's Lightning, Hope, and Onion Knight.
Okay, but it's still
not Tidus.
35 CP.
No, it did have their 35s. Chat, tell Pierre it had their 35s.
But not Tidus.
Okay, yeah, not Tidus. But I know I pulled Onion Knight and Hope's 35, and I didn't have them.
We got our points together. It didn't have Tidus, but it had everybody else's.
The worst fucking character. Onion Knight, Lightning, and Hope? Who the fuck uses them? I don't know. But
you mean right now or 6 months ago?
Right now. Right now.
No one.
If I had all the red gems in the world, I would awaken Onion. Because he looks fun.
Oh, woohoo, but except you would never use him.
Maybe for fun. But yeah, you're right.
Okay. Not Hope's
So for you, 50K. Any other limits? You said so. You 50K is your limit as well, right? For
not like I would ever reach that, but yeah, that would be my mental limit.
Exactly, Pierre. You would never reach that hoarding. So I feel like
wait a second there. On season 1, someone challenged me to wait for General Leo to pull on anything, and I made it through. So
I want your I like your attitude though, because if I had the gems, I would pull once every EX banner, because you never know if you're going to get lucky and pull an EX first draw. Like, you can't win the lottery unless you play. So I feel like you should pull on I would pull at least once on every EX banner.
I don't know. Now that I got Tidus and Squall, I don't think I'm going to win shit anymore for a very long time. So, anyway. See, Macnol says roughly 90% chance of an EX is 460 tickets. Wow. Or 115K gems. And then you got streamers like what's his face that got like the EX and 35 CP and 2 tickets. Man, this.
Oh man, Broadway's luck, dude. I started with so much luck in the EX era. I pulled Cloud EX in 2 multiples. Then I pulled Noctis EX on tickets. And then I haven't gotten anything since. So I have 2 EXs. I know plenty of people who've passed me up by now. You've passed me up by now, right?
I've got 2.
Yeah. So, you can't complain about your luck.
I'm not complaining about my luck. I'm saying it can, once you've reached the top, the only way up is down. That's the way I'm looking
You're going to be
at it.
fine. I told you. I told you your luck is going to turn around.
It did.
You were going to pull better EXs than I do. You have Tidus EX, the strongest EX. You can't complain anymore.
I remain committed to that. The only way up for me right now is down, and I'm fine with it, which is why I have 25K gems at this moment. I'm not pulling on anything, not that I have much to pull on. But I decide to join your bandwagon and wait for Kate. Not
all right. Everyone heard this, right? Everyone in the audience heard this. Pierre and I are having a standoff, a gem standoff now. Whoever pulls first loses. We challenge each other before the podcast to to hold each other accountable for saving gems until Kate Sith.
Except that I am streaming this baby, and not only that, but I will show the audience right now on my webcam, just so they know that I have very exactly. Wait, it's not focusing correctly. 25k. I have 25k 500 gems at this very moment. So
okay, and Kree says, "Do tickets count? Tickets do not count.
Tickets do
Gem
not
pulls
count.
Only. Yeah, tickets do not count. But me and
you gotta
Pierre,
give me something. You gotta give
whoever
me something.
exactly whoever multi-pulls with gems first, guys, loses. Eventually, next podcast, we're gonna come up with a punishment game, Pierre, to keep things interesting.
And we've got to say this: half draw tickets. I mean, half draw counts.
Yeah, half draw. Of course, half draw counts. I didn't even pull on the Ashe half draw.
Related counts.
Yeah, fuck that. I didn't even pull on Ashe half draw, and I don't have any of her weapons, so it's done. But
so
but anyway, so oh, and remind me in case we forget. So the last thing we need to talk about is Gartant's Guide to Gilgamesh event.
Yeah, we're getting to that in a second.
Okay,
so
good. I just hoping you
down.
didn't remember.
How many gems do you have right now?
I have. Let me open my app. Slightly more than you, I remember.
Oh, wait. Macnol wants to have a screenshot of my purchase gem because they believe I'm gonna.
Oof. Purchase gems count? That counts?
Yeah, you can't pull it all. What the hell's wrong with you?
No, but I'm saying like I'm not gonna buy gems and well, I already have gems. But I'll put a screenshot up. I'll put a screenshot up on the website or Twitter or whatever. But right now I'm at 25,810 gems. Is what I.
Yeah, it's not good quality. I've got purchase 8,300, acquired 170,200, and total, like I said, whoops, sorry about that. And now my dog and cats are running stupid because I dropped my phone. So I'll post a screenshot as well right after the podcast. So there we go.
I have 9,060 purchase gems, 16,750 acquired gems. I will post that screenshot.
So this is an official challenge. All right, now upcoming events. We don't have a question of the week for next week, but I believe one of us will come up with something by next week, and we'll post it on social media. Upcoming events. Now we're gonna do these a little differently for the upcoming weeks because we have someone who Mino will say the name in a few seconds, who offered us to help us with a little more content for this section, the upcoming events. So we're going to have a little more information to prepare you ahead of time for some of the events. Gilgamesh is coming in 3 days minus
Sunday.
1 hour and 20 minutes. And what do we have to say about Gilgamesh? I think he's a fully physical player, right?
Yes. He is a decent brave shaver. That is all I can say about Gilgamesh. That's 60-60. He is a pure, as people following JP, they completely changed how the character works on his 70-70 awakening. But I feel like it's not our place to talk about that yet because we're a GL podcast. But when he released 60-60, he is a decent brave shaver. So literally nothing special because there's better brave shavers. Brave shaving isn't unique.
Like who?
And he, way to put me on the spot, Pierre. Who's a better brave shaver? Vaan? With his double attacks? Squall shaves pretty hard. I'll come up with a list when I'm less drunk. But the point is, he is a brave shaver with no unique gimmicks, which means he is easily replaced. 70-70, he becomes a support character with buffs. But for now, he is a brave shaver and one of the most passable characters in the 60-60 era. For sure. Oh, Macnol said Yuri. Thank you, Macnol. Yuri's a better brave shaver. Bart's is a better brave shaver.
People are also saying Terra.
Terra only has Meteor and 6 charges of that. I don't know if she's a top tier Brave Shaver.
But doesn't her EX kind of give you a lot more ability uses, considering the fact that EX will be coming around?
Not really. Like people have said, Meteor does more Brave damage than her EX. It's kind of sad. Yuffie,
Yeah.
One Wing Devils. There's a lot of people who do it percentage wise, Brave Shaving, basically. And so Gilgamesh isn't
Cecil?
super special. Yeah, Setzer, there you go. And then all the characters coming awaken. But anyways, so before I get into Garton's guide, and I'm glad he's still awake and with us, because at this point, me and Pierre have been drinking for about an hour plus. So I'm not gonna I'm not gonna be able to get through Garton's guide with a lot of clarity. But so before we get into Garton's guide, Gilgamesh EX in JP was infamous because that was like, it was so impossibly difficult and unbalanced that in Japan they extended the event for a month.
Oh shit, that's not good.
A month after it ended, so that new characters they came out with could help clear it, because it was such bullshit.
That's like a mission of guilt, isn't it?
Yes, it was such bullshit, because when it first launched, there were only 4 characters that could reach the score target, and it was like the synergy characters, Bartz with his EX, Cecil, Kate Sith, and Selfie. Those were the only 4 characters who could hit the score requirement. So the most meta team possible, which is Selfie, Kate Sith, and Cecil, and Bartz, because he was synergy and had his EX. The boss is ridiculous because it is immune to all debuffs, had insane amount of HP, raises its defense every turn, and debuffed max brave and attack almost every turn. So, and it had to be killed under 30 turns. So it was ridiculous. And so it was the most complained about EX fight in the history of DFFOO. And it'll be a lot of, I want to say Global's going to nerf it, right? Pierre, there's no way they're going to let that come to us.
Yeah, I don't think so. Especially if they kept it for like a month. When they sent like that boss fight to Global, they probably attach a post-it note to it, say just like nerf that thing to the ground.
Yeah, like this was such a bad, like, again, it's so bad the developers extended for a month saying we'll release more characters that can do it. But I mean, like, they've got to nerf it because it was so bad. So immune to all debuffs and all the defense and debuffs that the boss gives, like you had to do pure damage, pure DPS. You can't have any like debuffers or anything. You had to have pure DPS, and that's why Bartz was so valuable, because this guy raises his debuff so much, his defense so much, that Bartz's missile and double hand, that like fraction brave, was so necessary. Or like pumped up Gilgamesh synergy. Hope is the last synergy character to reduce the damage coming so you don't lose too much brave. And battery, it was ridiculous. So now let me skim Garton's guide real quick. This is going to be a mess, guys. I don't think I can read properly anymore.
See, before you do that, GRW18 says that after the Lena EX fiasco, they better nerf the Gilgamesh EX. So says that GP is a beta test and Global is a polished version.
And then I love the exchange you had. Deproximate says, does JP have beta testers? Which I want to say no, definitely, of course not. They're coming out with new content every week. They don't have time to beta test. And then you said, yeah, they're players, which is completely true. Because the way that GL has been getting rebalances and quality of life stuff way earlier, the JP players definitely feel like they're like beta test. They're like,
is that what they say among themselves?
Yeah, they're upset that GL's catching up so fast and getting all the good stuff.
But
because
the only thing that it means, if we're catching up so fast, means we'll get the garbage at the same time they do pretty soon.
Which is the Square Enix's intention, but the concern is they're like, what's the point of playing JP once GL catches up? You know,
It's in Japanese.
Yeah, right. So like, there's a little upset and worry there. But yeah, like GL, we get more. We have more high shards than they did.
Oh, that has to be the catchphrase. GL, we get more.
Yeah, no, it is because we have more high shards than they did at this point. We have more armor
honestly,
tokens.
Between you and me, with the co-op rewards and everything, the number of high shards we're getting is flat out ridiculous at that point.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I'm ultra casual player because that's my position in the group between you and Mark. I'm like the casual guy, but seriously.
Oh yeah, Sorry to interrupt. GRW18 said we got Terra costume at Elise event, which is true because literally JP got Terra costume at the same time that month. So stuff like that.
They needed some money.
We are getting everything early. We are having a more balanced game than JP did.
Anyhow, we got you were going to read out the Gilgamesh guide, right?
Yeah, sorry. Okay, let me try to do that. Garton, I apologize in advance.
Well, he says I encourage his drunk reading behaviors. I think he's looking forward to it.
Garton says here that he tried to look up the immunities that. So Weapon Keeper is the boss for the Gilgamesh event. It is based on an Omega weapon design. So the robots from the Balthier event. And he said he was trying to read the debuff immunities. Garton, next time forward them to me. I'm fluent in Japanese, so I can read that stuff. But he said he thinks it's all immune to all debuff.
You are fluent in Japanese?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we talked about this.
When did it happen?
I even have a thread on Reddit with all the translations of the voice lines of all the characters.
Why are we not doing a segment every week about that? Like a couple of characters. What the hell are they saying?
I don't know, man.
All right, starting next week, we're going to have a segment about that. All right, keep going.
So Garton says he's pretty sure the kanji put there is immune to all debuffs, and I can confirm that from the JV. Yeah, he's immune to all debuffs. So Garton says the boss will repeatedly raise its defense, will have higher defense than typically been viewed as fun in his eyes, which is true. But then again, we also got like Lena EX, which has more defense than we were ever. And City, I don't want to fucking talk about those. The point is, the high defense era is coming, where batteries are going to reign supreme unless GL changes things. I really hope they don't enter a few months of just insane defense like they did in JP. Wow. You got to help me with this, Pierre.
I'm not reading anything. You didn't send me anything.
I'm going to link it to you. You got to help me.
I would love to help you, except you didn't send me anything.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. That's the way he does it. He just sends it to me.
So he says Weapon Keeper is weak to lightning and has no resistances. A bunch of attacks, but the short of it, because I don't want to read every attack, is let's see here. Constantly raises defense with a personal battery. Grants max brave up to the Titanic energy draw. Grants max brave up. Is a battery and further raises defense. So he has two moves that batteries himself and raises defense. A brave to HP, a max brave down and speed down debuff, and an AoE brave to HP that debuffs max brave, speed, max HP, and attack down. Fuck, this boss sounds stupid.
All right. So synergy characters are going to be Gilgamesh, Hope, and Bots. Gilgamesh is an alternative, more offensive version of Bots. He keeps percentage-based brave shaving. I like that. But trades in battery for outputting. Hope is going to be your buffer, so the No Parents Boy is currently one of the best batteries. Okay, that can't be right.
No. Hope is a really good battery. I said that on his Awakening wave, but who the hell invested high shards in Hope?
If you did, you're my hero. Anybody who decided to awaken Hope, please raise your hand. Nope, no one. All right. Bots arrives here with his EX weapon. Sadly, his EX weapon is not particularly impressive, at least to me. Well, pwom pwom.
That's
So,
fair. I have a counter to that, Garton, is that talking to the triple break guys on Reddit, Xenon and Sugoi and stuff, they said Bart's EX is really good if you like Bart's because it is the fastest charging EX in the game. That means it will charge every time he uses an ability or every time he braves or HP attacks twice. It will charge, which means he can double hand or missile, gain a ton of brave, and then instantly brave to HP to dump his brave. So apparently it is actually insanely good for Bart's, but Bart's isn't that strong of a character. But he's also the MVP of this EX event. If it's as fucking brutal as it was in JP, Bart's is congratulations everyone that awakened Bart's. All right, sorry Pierre, go on.
all right, so he's got a list of people you can replace with. So for Gilgamesh, I like this. You can replace Gilgamesh with Yuri, and then goes on saying, "Who the fuck is Yuri?" That will pretty much be the only time this character will be seen here. And so I like that.
That's a fair assessment, Gerton, but Bart's also batteries and has an aura. So I
I'm
want
not
to say he's a
done. Relax.
sorry,
So you can
sorry.
replace Gilgamesh with Squall, Terra, Lightning, or Cecil. You can replace Hope with Selfie, Serah, Yuna, Kral, or Ramza. And you can replace Bart's with no one. He says that Bart's replacement are exactly the same as Gilgamesh. My understanding from this, and especially after listening to last episode, is that I'm fairly sure that to beat this, you're going to need either Gilgamesh or Bards. Just like in the last episode, you guys said that to beat EX with all the score and everything, you needed either Squall or Selfie. Does that make sense?
I think so. We'll see.
Oh yeah, we'll
I'm
see. At
crossing
that
my
point,
fingers for nerfs. I'm crossing my fingers for nerfs, basically.
wow, the guy that says he's breezing through content says he's crossing his finger for nerves.
Well,
I'm
I mean,
giving you
also,
two attempts to guess who's not even going to try the EX, and if you guess Mino, you're wrong.
I'm gonna say at least they're giving us wave 4 of awakening during this event. Let's see if we're gonna need it or not.
Are they? Because Gilgamesh is coming out on, oh yeah, during, but not at the beginning of the event.
Yeah. But wave 4 is coming Wednesday, literally
Yeah, 3 days into
3 days
the event.
away. Yeah, so we're gonna get another power creep right in the middle of the.
All right. So we'll leave that as it is right now and cover it next week. Other than that, as Mino just said, we'll be having the Wave 4 of Awakening on the 9th. Sorry. Which is going to have Edgar, Laguna, Prishe, Ramza, Vivi, and finally Serah. And rumor says it should have Zidane and Waishtola EX weapons as well.
Yeah, and to approximate, Serah, he says Serah won't work for debuff, but I think Edgar might be very strong because machines, extra damage to machines, and Weapon Keeper will be a.
Oh man, I don't want to bring that back because I was so right. But see, Edgar being strong against machines, that's the kind of passive ability that I don't need like a second button to remind me of. Because it lasts throughout the whole fight. It's going to be there
Never
no
mind,
matter what.
Ramza corrected me. Weapon Keeper is not a machine. I just went off of that because of the Omega thing. I'm gonna be
Womp
much
womp
more researched
womp.
next week, guys. I'm sorry. I've been drinking a lot. I just all the little details are gone.
All right. On the 16th, we're gonna have Relm, and then somewhere throughout that month, we should have Cater, Aerith, and Lion in the upcoming events. So there you have it.
Lion's a favorite, but what
Rawr.
crystal color is she?
I think she's color.
Please
I
be like
don't know.
green or yellow, which I have a million of, but
Let me tell you right now, Lion is color. Oh, where's she? Someone on the chat is gonna find her before I do.
Oh, they said Ultima weapon from FF6. I was thinking Omega weapon. You know the robot from FF1?
See, that's
Omega
what I
weapon's the.
originally thought.
Thank
Then you
you. Thank
said
you. I don't feel like such
machine.
an idiot anymore, Pierre.
No, I thought Omega weapon. No, you were the only one thinking that.
Okay, see, I thought
Okay,
Omega weapon, guys.
lion is white crystal.
Well, I'm fucked. I don't have any white crystals, so.
Well, it's not like
Yeah.
you don't have a lot of time to get them, so. Just get your triple items, buffs, and artifacts while you can, and there you go.
Well, anyways, so that was our shitty attempt to preview the Gilgamesh event.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be so much better next week.
We're gonna be so much better next week, guys. When I'm sober and I do my research, because I swear, guys, I usually do my research.
That has nothing to do with it. I just mean Mark.
I swear to God, guys. I swear to God, guys. I'm usually sober and I do my research. So previews don't take us too seriously. But thank you, Garton. We'll be better prepared next week for sure.
So, any parting words, my dear Mino, before we leave this one for today? Mark says, where do we get Beatrix? I don't know. Probably on April 1st. I'm fairly sure that's what the rumor says. April 1st, Beatrix. She's in the same event as General Leo.
Last thoughts is we need at least one sober person. We need at least one sober person on this podcast at all times. We need to make that a rule. I think we've rambled way too. Like, we had one less person and we went over time. But we also have the most chat activity and viewers we've ever had. So, make of that what you will.
We did not even have any tits. So try to imagine how well we would have done on Twitch with tits.
Oh my God.
That's all I'm saying. There was.
And then Kreese says he is thinking of doing a Gilgamesh review. Please do, Kreese.
Oh, please. And I said it in chat, and I was absolutely serious about it. We are looking forward to it, because we can never have too many reviews about a character, because someone's going to think something, and then somebody else is going to bring a whole different vision on the character, and it's going to change the way we're looking at it.
So. So please, we need more review. Like, Reddit's been pretty dead with these character evaluations. People keep asking me, when am I going to do another one? I just felt like Selfie and Kate Sith don't need an evaluation. Everyone knows they're overpowered anyways, but I'm on the fence about doing a Relm one, because Xenon of Triple Break has been bugging me about it. He's like, Relm was very underrated in Japan. She's actually really good. You should tell GL that she's good. So I'm on the fence about that.
All right. So I think that pretty much covers it. So that's going to be a wrap for us. That was episode number, 36, recorded on January 3rd. I'm going to save you guys a lot of time saying that all of our social media links are available at tccpodcast.com. That includes Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, whatever. I think our email address is down, so don't use that. If you have any question, use YouTube or Twitter or Facebook. I'm going to look into that this week. I've only realized that, so don't use that. But other than that, please join us on Twitch next week. We've had such a good time this week with the 40-something people that were with us, and we're going to keep going and talking with them after the show. But for you listening after the recording of this live event, that's going to be it for us. So thank you, Mino, for this week, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one, my friend.